everyone, Jessica here from Paper Ink Stamp, and welcome back to another card making video. So today I'm using a stamp set that I did show you in a previous haul video. So this is an Altenew stamp set, and this is called Baby Shower. So what I'm going to do is to show you the inside, as all of the Altenew stamp sets do. This comes with an inspiration booklet, so it just shows you how you can use this stamp set with other Altenew products, whether it's their stamps or their dies, and it gives you then a list of sort of the colours and inks and things that they've used as well. So it's a really great place to start if you're not 100% sure, what you can do with your Altenew product. So in today's video, we're going to be creating 2 invitation cards, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of batch processing. So the batch processing is going to be on a much smaller scale because I am only making 2, but of course you can follow the same process and create many more cards. So the design for these invitation cards is going to be quite simple. We're literally just going to have a sentiment, and we're going to have then our stamped critters as well. And that's pretty much all it's going to be. We are going to add a matte layer in as well, but that's just going to help sort of bring the focus into sort of the main elements of the card. But because I'm going to be batch creating, I already know that colouring in with the alcohol markers is going to be a little bit time consuming. So I want to keep it just as simple as I possibly can. So you can see that I've put my stamp into my stamping platform, and so by using a stamping platform, it means then that I can just change up my cardstock or rotate my cardstock, and then I can restamp the image, and also I can restamp it if I didn't get a good impression the first time. So you can see that I've popped a piece of A5 cardstock into the stamping platform, and all I'm going to do is, after I've stamped my first image, is I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. So the reason I've picked an A5 piece of cardstock is because I knew that I was going to get both of my invitation card front panels from this one piece of cardstock. So there are 2 ways of doing this. You could either use a bigger piece of cardstock like I have here and just rotate it. So if I used an A4 sheet, I could rotate it 4 times and get 4 cards. Or you could cut down your cardstock first of all and then pop it in and then just keep changing out your card. So it really depends what works best for you. So to add just a little bit more into the design, I'm stamping a couple of additional stamps. So we've got these balloons here. Later on, I am just going to draw in the string to the balloons, but for the moment, I've just stamped them, and you can see that I've stamped that for both of my images. So now I've got my design all stamped, I can go ahead and start colouring these in. So I'm going to be using my Tri-Blend alcohol markers by Spectrum Noir, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one colour. I'm going to use that for both images, so I'm going to colour in both of these bears to begin with. So this is the golden yellow blend pen, so I'm using the light, medium and dark here, and I'm going to be creating the shadows and the highlighted areas. So because this is going to be the main focus of my card, I don't have much else going on. I wanted to put a lot of effort into the actual colouring of these images. If you had a little bit more going on, or maybe you're making a lot more of these, you might want to do something maybe that's not as time consuming. Obviously I'm making 2, but it still did take a little while to colour both of these images in. So again, it really kind of depends how many you're doing and sort of how detailed you really want to be with it. When it does come down to batch processing, again, it is an easier way of colouring by actually colouring in everything that you want in that particular colour, and it just means then if you want all of them to be exactly the same, you know exactly what colour you have used. The colours that I picked to colour these images in, I went for something that was maybe a little bit more muted. I didn't use too many kind of bright colours, but for the clothing and things, I did kind of just pick colours up, to be honest with you. I did end up with this vintage blue on the bunny rabbit, and then I ended up with the vintage pink actually on the bear, but that was purely kind of coincidental. But you really could use this stamp set and tailor it to whatever kind of party is going to be happening. So if it's going to be a gender reveal, you could have maybe 2 balloons and you could have 2 different colours there. You could have 2 different t-shirt colours. If you already know what the gender is going to be, then of course you can tailor again the t-shirts or the balloons or whatever to that kind of scenario. So again, you really can tailor this to whatever it needs to be, of course, or it could be completely gender neutral if you wanted it to be, much like this kind of example is here. So I really love that about creating invitations. I would really love to create invitations and be able to sell them, but it just means that that one stamp set is so neutral and so versatile that again you could really just use that for whatever kind of occasion it's going to be. So I do really love how cute this looks. Again, you could have it very muted tone back like the colours I'm using here, or you could go super bright with it, and I think that would still look just as great. So that is pretty much just colouring these in. Like I said, this is obviously sped up a lot more. This did take me sort of a lot longer to create, but I'm really happy with the results. I'm glad I sort of took my time with this because I do just think it looks really, really cute. So with these balloons, I am just going to draw in some string lines. I thought this would be the easiest way to go. So you don't have to have balloons if you didn't want to. It looks like they're just saying hello. Of course, you could use this on any other card. It doesn't have to be for a invitation. It doesn't have to be for a baby shower or whatever. You could literally just have them all coming together and saying hello. So now I'm going to stamp my sentiment. So I could have done this at the start when I had my stamping platform out to begin with, and that would have saved this little bit of time. I would still have had to stamp it, but it would have saved me time getting my stamping platform back out. But I really wanted to focus on stamping the actual design of the card because that bit at the time was quite important to get that right. And maybe if you wanted to add something extra, some extra imagery in there, it means then you know, that your sentiment isn't necessarily getting in the way. But I'm doing the same thing that I've done with you know, up until now. I've stamped it and I'm going to rotate it, and then I'm going to do the same for the other front panel. So again, this is just very minimal batch processing, but it certainly makes things so much easier. So I really love the design of this, and I love actually that we've stamped the sentiment directly onto our front card panel. Normally I would you know, do some like heat embossing, maybe pop it onto some foam tape, but that is then all added steps. If you are batch creating, you want to make it as simple as possible, and I think that really works for this kind of design. There's enough space for it. It fills up that nice bit of blank space. And if I were to have stamped a separate sentiment, I probably wouldn't have just put it up in that white gap, and then I probably would have been looking for more things to put on my card to sort of fill those spaces. But I do think this is a really great design for an invitation, and again, that batch processing. I think when you've got something really quite simple like this as well, I think you need to take more time with your colouring in. So I've spent, like I said, longer colouring in these images with my alcohol markers. I've tried to make it as good as I possibly can, because I think you don't have anything to kind of distract from it. That is the main focus. I think it needs to be kind of as good as you can possibly make it. And then having that black matte layer in there as well. So this is, it was just a random piece of cardstock I found, but it has got a weaved pattern to it. Again, it just adds something a little bit extra to that matte and layer, makes it a little bit more interesting. But it really helps sort of focus the eye to our colouring, and then just to that main focal point of the card. And we've got two really nice big thick borders on there. Again, I think that makes it a little nicer looking. So we've got a 5 by 5 inch card. Our black layer is 4.5 by 4.5, and then our main decorative panel is then 4 inch by 4 inch. And I do really love how this has come out. So that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and leave me a comment if you want to. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so you don't miss out on any future videos. So thanks very much for watching, and happy crafting.